Fox News alert now. As we told you at the top of the hour, it's where we started. The FBI chief has told lawmakers on Capitol Hill that the couple who killed 14 people at that office party last week in San Bernardino, California, was radicalized long before they met online. Director James Comey says Saeed Farouk and Chashfeen Malik spoke to each other of martyrdom and jihad as far back as late 2013. We're going to revisit this topic. It's breaking news at the top of the hour. Of course, we took a pause for the president for this, but I want to come to you, Sandra, first on this, because you say this is really important for us to know. Why?
Well, these are two huge pieces of news on this story. The fact that the FBI is saying that this couple was radicalized before they met online. That's one big piece of news out of this. Also, the FBI in this announcement said that they're going to continue to work to understand the nature of the association with these foreign terror organizations, which they said they were working with, and the source of their inspiration, which I thought was really interesting. Moving beyond that, investigators saying that they believe that they had planned an attack prior to San Bernardino. Another news outlet is reporting that the couple was spooked because of the recent terror arrests in California and decided not to carry out that attack. I think going forward, that is going to be a huge point that needs to be made. They were deterred by local arrests.
Which is why we can't back off. But how do we go forward if we're not getting the information that's 2.5 years old at this point?
Well, there's a couple of things here. First of all, I think this is a good reminder that everything we hear right after an event like what happened in San Bernardino is suspect. We heard originally, it seemed like, oh, he was a normal guy and then he met this woman and then the wife radicalized him. And that now seems to not be the case. Look, people keep talking about how did we miss this? Most likely we missed it because we can't always find it. That's not saying if there were red flags here.
Because this was during the time of all that metadata.
Well, that's exactly right. And you could argue that maybe the bulk data collection meant it was hard to find the needle in the haystack. But I don't know that. I think if there were red flags that we should have known about, and maybe there were, then yeah, we got to ask why they weren't followed up on and see what we can do better. But I think the simple truth is we can't stop every nut job who wants to kill people. And it's an ugly truth, but it's a truth.
But the question, Katherine, is was there enough there? Was there enough there to where authorities should have caught this?
I don't know how, but you would think it's got to always be a long process. Even if you believe in radical extremism, there's a process between that and actually deciding to turn your apartment into a bomb factory, going out and committing mass murder. There is a process, and somewhere in that process, the anti-terrorism officials should be able to pick on something, or else what are they doing?
This makes me think of something you said yesterday, though, because you were saying, Andy, that a lot of the information that we got early on certainly has not turned out to be true as they dig deeper in their investigation. But where did we get a lot of that information? From people who were family members and witnesses. And Andrea, you were saying you didn't feel like they had done enough before they opened up that scene and let people kind of go back to wherever, and that we hadn't done enough in talking to people.
Well, just a lot of questions about why the family members weren't held in FBI custody and why they were allowed to appear at press conferences with care when they should have been interrogated. But the time leading up to that, can we just say that they weren't dating? I mean, there's reports that they were dating, they were radicalized, they weren't a Muslim mingle. It's not like jihad match or something like that. They teamed up to conduct this attack, and it seems logical, right? You look at the pipe bombs, you look at the weapons, you look at the 100 rounds of ammo. You knew, based on Trace Gallagher's reporting, that they were up to something bigger because of what they had in that apartment. And I would say we're not taking the right steps. It's two big issues. One, going after these websites that allow these terrorists to communicate, many of them encrypted, and two, the visa program. This could have been stopped, but they have to take a closer look, and in this country, that's not the priority. The priority is going after gun owners and people who speak ill of Muslims, and the White House proved that after San Bernardino with Attorney General Lynch's announcement and the president's from the Oval Office.
All right, real quickly, because this is still going on. Comey is still testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee, and so this has just come down about this couple, possibly inspired by the Islamic State savages. So now we're learning more. They may have been together, but look at the timing of that. As you pointed out, Sandra, they may have tried to do something earlier, felt deterred by what we were doing, making arrests, we as Americans.
Well, so what we're learning, and this is Fox News reporting, that the information on the attack that was planned prior to this, that the apparently or reportedly got spooked and didn't carry it out. We learned from these interviews with Farouk's friend, who legally purchased the weapons. So,
who was also radicalized and had converted to Islam.
So, Andrea, you're making the case that there was enough there.
I think so. And I mean, the neighbor is the biggest key, but the neighbor was too scared because of a culture of political correctness. I mean, you look back on this and it's like the country was going, look at all the pretty red flags. Ooh. I mean, when are we going to wake up? And they're still not addressing the problem. At least they are in the House of Representatives with this visa program, and at least Donald Trump is starting dialogue about an important issue.
All right. Well, a lot to be learned because we don't know for certain all that went on, but for sure, the FBI director, James Comey, right now is dropping some news. He's bringing it. We're going to continue to cover it as it comes out of that testimony that he's giving now on the Hill. Well, new questions about the response to the Benghazi attack. We are learning the Pentagon offered help for a rescue mission. We thought this. Now we know. It was never given the green light. Why could that be, and how it could affect Hillary Clinton's run for the White House? Stay with us.